Alright, so there's going to be no like special introduction or anything to this. I'm sure you guys all know what kind of video this is going to be. I put in the title and I'm already hovering over it. This is going to be your title update 3 patch notes. We're going to go through the entire thing of patch notes, full breakdown. So starting out, how do you get to your patch notes? You're at your home screen and you go over to past your settings to your patch notes. Now it's not going to say title update 3 because the whole title update is kind of self-explanatory. This is actually the third update to this video game. So the first one being 1.01, that was at game launch. The next one was the first ever patch. I believe that was title update 2. And now we have 1.04, which is title update 3. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the overview, and then we will actually go through each individual section. Now, if you do enjoy this video and you find it informative in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and mash that notification bell. Now, I am Kamikazevondoom, and I hope this will help you guys out. So to get into further details, you would hit A for select, but for right now we're just going to go through the overviews. So starting up at the top, we have a new feature now, Operation Dark Hours. Now this is the raid and it is not unlocked as of today. They will release a date later on when the raid will actually be released to everybody, but for right now you'll be able to see it, but you're not going to be able to actually join it. Kind of like Tidal Basin when we were all World Tier 4, kind of the same deal. Now we're going to go through the Operation Dark Hours, then we will talk about game changes. Overall, it is gear set updates, NPC AI changes and fixes, crafting and recalibration changes, exotic weapon changes, weapon and gear talent changes, skill changes, Dark Zone updates, and conflict updates. That is a mouthful, so the game changes is quite a bit. Next down is the general updates. We will talk about the text chat improvements, the UI and settings update, and finally a few of the bug fixes. So hopefully the game changes isn't too hefty, but let's go ahead and get into this. So, starting off, new raid. Operation Dark Hours is our first 8-player raid coming to Tom Clancy's The Division 2. It pits 8 players together for the first time in the history of the franchise to experience the most challenging activity available in the game. Teamwork, collaboration, and adaptation will be necessary to defeat the Black Tusk. So this is going to be the first ever time you can play with 8 people on the same team. I'm sure you guys remember there was that glitch back in the Division where we could do that, but it's a whole nother animal. So that is your raid, Operation Dark Hours. Let's go down to game changes. And let me scroll real quick. Alright, so game changes is going to be quite a bit to talk about. Now, I'm going to fly through these. If I have any 2 cents at all on the subject, I will say it. But if not, I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know what is up with this patch. So, starting off with the gear. Gear will now include better defensive rolls. Loot containers will now reset at a preset time of day. So, if you guys remembered when you were looting maybe the underground or your control points or even in the light zone in general, if you were to pick up a weapon cache or a gear cache or anything of the sort, it would then time out for the entire day. So you can only pick up that weapon once a day. Well, for the game before this patch, it was per that calendar day for the video game. So you could do whatever, and then as soon as the reset hit, you could do it again. Well, now it's going to be just at preset times, so it'll probably be at reset So same thing applies. Loot it, wait a day, and as soon as that minute hits, do it again. Preset times, baby. Alright, next time, gear sets. Ongoing directive now grants special ammunition in weapon, including the weapon currently equipped. It now grants special ammunition on any kill, not just weapon kills. So, cough cough skill kills, cough. Alright, next, hardwired now grants you skill damage instead of shock duration. Huge change. Huge. Next one is True Patriot. This one, it decreased all debuff cycles, and it increased the damage to other targets when the full flag is active. We also have new gear, an auxiliary skill battery. Sorry, I can't see. I should probably make this font a little bit bigger. Next one, auxiliary skill batteries fit in mod slots and grant skill power. So that's cool. So basically now we get auxiliary skill battery mods, and this will just give us a crap ton of skill power. Next is your NPC AI. Alright, so let's see what this is all about. Updated RC blade to fix various issues. Elite Medic's pulse grenade has been changed. It no longer applies disrupt, and the impact radius is reduced. Alright, because everyone knows those Elite Medics and their pulse grenades were OP as shit. Alright, next. The grenade impact radius should now be easier to see. Decreased damage of veteran, elites, and named NPCs. That's pretty cool. Enemy NPCs should no longer be able to stagger players with melee attack if the player has a ballistic shield equipped. Now, that's kind of like a no sense. Like, of course, why are you going to try to melee me when I have MF and shield in front of you? And not only that, but then it work and I get staggered? That is a great fix. Drone helicopter. Okay. Drone helicopter has increased health, increased damage, increased movement. Interesting. Drone helicopter. Okay. Now, decreased outcast suicide vest explosion radius. Lowered NPC damage and health above normal difficulty, and increased variety of NPCs at higher difficulty levels. So, overall with this NPC AI, it shows that decreased damage for basically all NPCs besides the red guys. And it also says when you're doing a harder difficulty than normal, you're going to get a more variety of NPCs. All in all, pretty cool. Go down to the icons. The confidential gear set intel item now has a project icon to better reflect its use. Okay, I mean, fair enough. Crafting. Added specialized and superior skill mod blueprints to the crafting vendor. We do have a crafting vendor. Woo! Added an extra weekly blueprint to the crafting vendor in the base of ops. Moved crafting blueprints from the base of ops vendor to Anaya, who is basically right next to your crafting bench. Crafted exotic weapons will now always upgrade to the max gear score of the world tier that you are currently in when the upgrade blueprint is used. That is really cool. So now, if you have all those low exotics and you have their blueprints, go ahead and craft them all. They will all be 500. Go down to recalibration. Recalibration, adjusted cost and ability to recalibrate. For terminate, kneecap, calculated. Recalibration has been changed to allow the majority of stats to be moved in higher values, which is good. They move the cap up so you can get some higher numbers. Now, weapon updates. Here we go. So the SOCOM Mark 20 SSR now has a skin slot from specialized quality and up. Your Chatterbox has more damage now. Your Sweet Dreams and Lullaby have more damage. Your Merciless and Ruthless have more damage. Your Pestilence has more damage. Basically, all of your exotics. And the TAC 50 now has 2 zoom states. Okay. Go down to the weapon talents. A lot of people are worried about the weapon talents. Here we go. So, Unhinged now has less damage and actually handling negative. So it raised up the handling a little bit and lowered your damage a little bit. Okay, not too bad. Strained increased missing armor requirement. So basically with Strained it was like a 1-for-1, I believe. The bullets that you would... Ooh, armor requirement. That's going to be an interesting one to look at. I'll get back to you guys on Strained. Alright, Frenzy decreased weapon damage and rate of fire in PvE and PvP. That's huge. Preservation increased armor repair for killing an enemy and killing an enemy with a headshot in PvE. Increased headshot kill bonus only in PvP. So that's interesting. So you can get the bonus. It's an increased bonus for killing and getting headshot kills in PvE, but the increase is only for headshot kills in PvP. And now requires 7 defensive attributes. Spike, increased skill damage. Oh, no, they didn't. Reduced duration, and now has 5 utility attributes. Oh, man. Now requires 5. Alright, Reformation, headshot kill, skill repair is increased, duration is decreased, and now requires 9 utility attributes. Interesting, and more interesting. So, let's look at our gear talents. Critical, reduce the crit hit damage bonus. Surgical, reduce the crit hit chance bonus. Safeguard, reduce the healing bonus and duration. Now requires less than 4 offensive attributes. Clutch, increased health gain per crit hit and reduced armor gained by crit hit. Not bad, just spec into some health. Spotter, increased weapon damage to pulsed enemies. That's stupid. And now requires 5 utility attributes. That's still stupid. Alright, Kneecap, increased chance to apply bleed when shooting an enemy in the legs. That's also going to be fun. Okay, Entrench, increased armor repair for headshots from cover. Unbreakable, uh-oh, here we go. These are all the big ones. Unbreakable for PvE. Greatly increased amount of max armor repaired when the armor is depleted. If you remember, it was 25% of your armor when it's depleted, and now it's been greatly increased. That's funny. Increased time frame for armor kits not being consumed, so that's good too. So PvE Unbreakable is solid. Let's look at PvP. Slightly increased max armor requirement when armor is depleted. Increased time frame, okay. Now requires 11 defensive attributes and no other talents affecting armor kits. Alright. That is Unbreakable. That will be it for that. Bloodsucker PvE. Increase the amount of armor needed to be depleted before weapon damage is increased. Okay, a little nerf there. That's only for PvE. Now requires 11 offensive attributes and an assault rifle, SMG, or LMG. Okay. Bloodlust PvE. Again. Oh, no, this is Bloodlust. So Bloodsucker has only been messed with for PvE. Alright. That's Bloodsucker, my bad. Bloodlust, PvE, increased weapon damage and decrease the duration. And decrease weapon damage and... Ooh, damn. Damn! No shit. So Bloodlust now is a PvE talent. They increase the weapon damage and decrease the duration for you to play PvE. But then they did the opposite for PvP. And then they slapped a requirement of 9 offensive attributes. Wow. Whew. Alright, so much for that. Alright, blacksmith. Increased armor repair, decreased occurrence, and now requires 11 defensive attributes. Jeez. Is it just me, or are they making this to where it's going to be very one-sided builds? Either you're going to be a tank, either you're going to be a skill power build, or you're going to be an offensive player. I mean, you're going to have the little tanky damage players, but, I mean, besides that. Alright, so skills. Riot Foam Chem Launcher has now increased base duration of the Riot Foam when used against an NPC. Reviver Hive fixed further occurrences of players not being revived. Revive time is slightly increased. The Reinforcer Chem Launcher. The gas clouds do not stack anymore. Sorry, guys. Scanner Pulse, reduced cooldown. Defender Drone will now drain more quickly once a shot has been deflected. And finally, the Assault Drone. PvE, the drone will now more actively look for a new target once it loses its current target. Those are your skills. Let's go down to missions. Bank Headquarters has now been reduced difficulty for solo players as well as Roosevelt Island. Now looking into PvP. Your damage modifier has now been reduced to increase kill time. The skill modifier increased to let skills have more impact in PvP. Okay, so everyone remembers the modifier was at a 0.7 multiplier, and they reduced that to a 0.4 multiplier. So yes, you did lose roughly 30%, but it should be fun. They don't specify the actual numbers here, so they might have tweaked it a little bit, but last time they said they're moving it down from 70% PvP damage down to 40% PvP damage. So that will increase the time to kill. Dark Zone. Contaminated loot. Bosses now guarantee a contaminated loot drop. Higher challenging landmarks can now drop multiple contaminated items. Basic veteran and elite NPCs have their drop rate lowered, but now have a very high chance to drop contaminated loot. Now, DZ bag size. Default, the bag size has been increased to 6, which is awesome. Tier 1, it's been up to 8. Tier 4, hold on. The Tier 1 perk, bag size now increases it to 8. Yes, I remember. And now Tier 10, it increases your bag to 10. So now we're going to have twice the amount of contaminated items, which is awesome. And Tier 4 perk, bounce back, now reduces DZ XP lost on death, which will be huge for the occupied Dark Zone. Go into the DZ brackets. Reduced brackets to level 1 to 30 and players in world tiers. So basically there's only going to be 6, I believe, 6 servers. So you have your tier, your world tier 1 through 5, but then you're going to have a tier just for levels 1 to 30. Now with that, I promise you, if you go into the Dark Zone as like a level 12 and there's some level 30 people, I promise you, you will die. So don't do it. If you do, make sure you're in a full group and they're at least 30, because that's going to mess you up real quick. Alright, let's talk about the Dark Zone NPC AI. Reduced damage output, increased time to kill. Landmarks have added a short cooldown to landmarks, so they don't just pop up in the exact same area immediately. Now Rogue, they removed the cooldown, but there is still a 5-second toggle cooldown. Thieves' Den now allows players to switch weapons. Occupied Dark Zone, Occupied Dark Zone damage modifiers added a separate PvP damage modifier. And the XP is now reduced when you are killed. Go down to conflict. Oh man. Let's talk about conflict. The conflict NPC has been moved to a more prominent spot next to the helipad outside the base of operations. That way more people can see it and more people can play conflict. But newsflash, a lot of people aren't playing it because it was kind of broken until now. So let's see what all they fixed. So as far as the actual shit is concerned, there is a armor boost. Amount has been reduced. The damage boost, the damage has also been reduced. The armor value on nameplates, increased visuals to better reflect how much armor an enemy has. So basically those little white ticks are actually going to show you in a way how much armor they do or do not have. Going into the respawn. Respawning players are now much more likely. Okay. Players are now more likely to respawn with their teammates. Saying much more is a problem there. Typo. Alright, go down to skills. Skill cooldowns no longer reset when a player is killed, which is awesome. I'm so sick of killing a guy and then him coming right back out with his shield and his deflector drone. Screw that. When I kill you and I break your shield and your drone is dead, you don't get it back, bro. Like, come back out and get smoked again. What's up? So sick of that one. Good. I'm very glad that one got changed. And finally, the conflict balance. All players are now scaled to max world tier gear score. Primary stats are now set to high-end values. Normalized talents overrides are applied. Budget distribution of unnormalized items is preserved. No additional bonuses applied. Unlocked mods and talents from unnormalized builds are still active, which is huge. If you have, a certain talent that you like having active in regular gameplay versus normalized gameplay, now it's the same. The only thing they're going to do is tweak, your armor and your damage. But you get to keep your mods, you get to keep everything. Good. Now, let's see where I was. Alright, here we go. Items above gear score 500 will be scaled to 500. No bonus stats will be applied to these items, and recalibration bonuses are not applied. PvP specific overrides. Weapon and skill global damage modifiers. Targeted weapon and skill damage modifiers. And skill behavior overrides. That is your game changes for the patch title update 3. Let's go into the general updates. So, in the chat, your text chat has been improved. Players can now toggle displaying personal and group loot drops. Text chat will now lose focus after sending a message, which is good. Group tab will be populated with all raid members when queuing for a raid, and improved feedback when attempting invalid actions. Now changes to the UI. Character sheet will now properly update and display accuracy, stability, recoil, weapon swap, and reload speed from weapon handling bonus. That's pretty awesome. So it actually shows you what the weapon handling does. And in the PC slot, in your settings, they added anti-aliasing graphics setting with new ultra alternative for sharper image when in motion. Okay, cool. And finally, let's go to the bug fixes. So, in Title Update 3, the bug fixes, they fixed an issue where the NPCs in a bounty screen had been broken animations. Oh yeah, they're broken arms. Yeah, that was funny.
Fixed an issue where players on PlayStation 4 were unable to complete the big game hunter accommodation. Fixed an issue that could prevent players from completing the side mission medical camp attack. They fixed another issue where the armor values on an AI in the Dark Zone scaled incorrectly. The sniper turret would aim at targets at a time and at a site in PvP. Interesting. So your sniper turret should be more accurate now. Fixed an issue with the scanner pulse and remote pulse not being properly affected by the skill duration, so they fixed that. That's good. And finally, they fixed various issues where skill bonuses were not applied properly. So that is a lot to digest. Let's go ahead and blow through this one more time real quick. So there is a new raid. You will be able to see where the entrance is, but you will not be able to play it. For game changes, there are huge changes that I would highly recommend you guys go through if you are worried about a certain weapon or gear set, brand set, talent. Go to general updates, nothing crazy, only things to better our experience, and bug fixes, again, only to better our experience. So, I am Kamikazevondoom. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a long video, but it is your full patch notes for Title Update 3. Without further ado, I'll let you guys get out of here. Start playing your Title Update 3. And I will see you guys in the next one. Kamikazevondoom here, and I'm out. Peace.